Greetings and salutations. I'm Tom Herbert, Technology Editor for Accounting Web, and I'm here to guide you through the last week in accounting tech. So, what has been happening? Well, the breaking news on Monday was that filing tool GoSimpleTax had snapped up bookkeeping tool, automated bookkeeping tool, Coconut. So this a number of angles to this story, which I go into a bit more depth in the podcast. But yeah, the potential, once the two are integrated, to have a sort of end-to-end solution for sole traders, individuals, small businesses to go from your bank feed, auto categorization, right through to filing. So if MTD actually happens for income tax self-assessment in 2026, there's a good solution out there for your small clients, I guess. There's also another impact of the sort of constant mucking around with MTD is having on the effect that's having on the small software providers. As I said, lots more on that in the podcast, which was released today. You can find that wherever you get your podcast by searching for Accounting Web, or you can listen on the page. Link to this and all the other stories in this video in the description. Now, anti-money laundering seems to be the topic du jour for accountants. Combination of regulators ratcheting up fines, a tougher government regime coming down the tracks, and the accounting profession seems to be feeling the AML strain. There was a disciplinary that was on the site this week that seemed to elicit a sort of primal scream from our readers. There were sort of over 55 comments that I saw anyway. So I decided to take a look at some of the software that could potentially do the heavy lifting and what accountants should be aware of when choosing these tools. Also a few suggestions from the community, so do check that out. I also uncovered something new. This is TaxTech, which is a domicile and residence record keeping app. It's founded by a former airline pilot whose aim is to create a black box for business affairs, so clients have all their domiciliary and residence details in one place. You can store, date stamp, and share this documentation. I spoke with Tim, the founder, and also Paul Applin, a tax partner, tax technology specialist, former ICAEW president. He's been working as a consultant for them. So yeah, good stuff. And still on the site, Jake wrote up a profile of Quill. So the elevator pitch is a sort of WhatsApp for accounting and financial institutions. So slightly more secure, bringing all those random comms tools together in a secure environment. So yeah, do check that out. Off the site now and onto the Times. Apologies for the paywall. Always good to see them paying attention to the sector. This is about PwC investing $1 billion in artificial intelligence. Big headline number there. They're hoping to automate parts of it, audit, tax, and consulting services over the next 3 years. Looking to perform basic tasks for its employees, such as creating initial drafts of documents. Not a great deal more detail about how they're planning to go into that, but yeah, the Big Four sitting up and taking notice of AI in accounting anyway. And now a message from our very own Accounting Excellence Awards. They've extended the application deadline to the 15th of May. Look at all these beautiful people winning awards and having a great time. I'll be there too, but don't let that put you off. What awards could a tech-savvy accountant enter? Well, you've got Digital Transformation Award, the Client Transformation Award, Breakout Star of the Year, a host of categories, so do check that out. something from the forums now, and someone flagged that on Free Agent you're able to pull in attachments from a Metal bank feed. So Metal being the challenger bank founded by NatWest, who of course own Free Agent as well. So a client can add their photo or PDF to the Metal transaction, and it's automatically added to the bank feed transaction in Free Agent. Now, I dropped Free Agent a line about this because I found it interesting as a former Flux user, RIP. They said it's been in operation since about 2021. It's more to do with their sort of API throughput than the bank feed per se. But Dave Maverick here says it makes sense. Most banking apps now ping up the transaction as a notification as you pay, so it's a good trigger to upload the invoice. A very positive flag there. Staying with Free Agent, they have also activated a dark mode on their mobile app. So this is an option that could potentially save some battery life and make it more accessible for some users. So good work there. We also had the Zero Awards this week in the technology categories. Chaser, so the late payments chasing sort of accounts receivable tool, I guess you'd say, won the Small Business App of the Year. Sift Analytics won UK Practice App of the Year. Mayday, David Tuck, the CEO of Mayday, was on the podcast a little while ago. They won the Emerging App Partner of the Year, and iWalker won Financial Service App of the Year. So congratulations to all concerned there. Now, I am fresh off the latest Tech Pulse show, which looked at the EU's mandatory e-invoicing rules and the impact they're going to have on UK businesses. So, yeah, a nice meaty topic. Joining me, Richard Asquith from VatsCalc and Alex Smith from Sovos. So thank you both for that. You can watch on this link. Onto TechCrunch now, and a chartered accountant who left the profession to teach himself to code has now developed a Credify, which is a document verification tool. So, as it says in here, this interview, fundamentally accountants are there to match certain transactions and make sure everything tallies up against one another. Realise technology can displace that activity, and he's sort of gone on to make this tool. Began working with educational organisations to prevent the use of fake degrees, certificates, and has now expanded that into other use cases. So yeah, interesting. They've got some funding, so it'll be interesting to see if that spreads out, as it were. Now, onto the register, and the Chinese city of Changshu is now issuing its salaries to civil servants and public sector workers in digital yuan. So that is the Chinese government's central bank digital currency. I think the UK government, Bank of England has been looking at its own Britcoin, doing a consultation about that. Published a couple of articles on the site. Some concerns expressed by readers about government interference or surveillance in terms of what you're spending your money on, and restrictions and things like that. China slightly ahead of the curve on adoption and testing, but certainly this report talks about a lack of adoption just in terms of not being able to spend the money. So one public servant said that they received the e-currency and immediately convert it to traditional yuan so they can spend it. Now, fresh off the back of a success at Wrexham Football Club, Ryan Reynolds has announced an investment in payments tech firm Nuve. I think this is a Canadian payments firm. Will this the interview? In the interview, I think it's fair to say he's fairly open about his lack of fintech knowledge, but he's there as a sort of hype man for the company. So, yeah, interesting to see if this one turns out to be a Wrexham Football Club, or whether it's a bit like that Green Lantern film he was in, 3 Hours of My Life. I will never get back. But no rubbish superheroes were harmed in the making of the Accounting Technology email. If you'd like to keep up with the fast-moving world of Accountech, then do pop your email in the box below. And that is it for this week. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.